Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk faster, faster, faster. Gotta talk fast. You're gonna rip that one of these days.
Welcome to an oral review of Archie Comics' Sonic the Hedgehog, reminding you that if you really can't decide who to vote for president at this point, don't worry about it and just vote down ballot. I'm Nick, and except for this intro, I wrote the script.
And I'm Dominic, and except for this intro, I haven't read any of it. Not read any of the script at all, but I have read the comic, yes.
What are we reading today?
We are reading Sonic Special, In Your Face.
I don't know when this was like released or published.
Got it. You have here published October 1994.
Yeah, I wasn't, it doesn't like say on the thing, or maybe the turtle that is clearly the guy who scanned these and pirated it for us, covered it up. But I don't see where it says anything on here. So
no.
I looked online. That was what I found.
Got it. I mean, that checks out.
Yeah.
The Quest. Princess Sally's Crusade. Conclusion. Script by Mike Antonovich and Ken Penders. Penciling by Art Mahwini. Sonic and Sally are in a training room. Sonic is sparring with Sally, a seemingly daily activity for the two of them. Sonic remarks that Sally is sluggish. Sally apologizes and starts thinking about that mysterious orb that fell from the sky, and then about her teacher, Jalala, dying. Just then, Rosie opens the door. Sally walks up and finds that Jalala, in her will, has left everything she owned to Sally. Sally walks to Jalala's place and finds a room stacked to the ceiling full of boxes. She starts opening some boxes and finds a hope chest for Sally. She opens the chest and finds a blue vest, a picture of Sally and King Eggcorn, and a map with instructions. Sally decides that she's had too much for one day, and that she'll look at the map tomorrow. Sally goes to bed, but Sally wakes up in the middle of the night, almost as if someone is calling her. She gets up, almost in a daze, and walks into the room where the recovered orb that was found last issue is sitting. The orb calls out. Hello, Sally. My name is Nicole.
That's the joke. Okay.
I don't know, something peppy?
Okay. You think that is pep?
Well, I think so. I think it's like a cool sidekick that like lives in your. I'm thinking of like if Ziggy from Quantum Leap could talk.
You know exactly how to. You just played me like a fucking fiddle.
I did. I feel proud of that.
Continue, Ziggy.
No argument further. I fucking nailed it right there.
You really did.
I didn't even plan that. That's awesome. I really want to watch Quantum Leap now.
I always want to watch Quantum Leap.
Oh, it's so good. Okay. And it may, as always, it may change as we think of something better. But all right. The orb dissolves. Inside is what could be described as a pocket computer. It has a small flip phone-like appearance with a keyboard. Sally asks what this machine is. I would be your friend, but that is a choice only you can make. Sally furrows her brow, saying the machine reminds her of someone else who always encouraged her to make her own decisions. Sonic and the Freedom Fighters barge into the room, saying that they were hearing voices, and asks what's going on. Sally says she doesn't know, but holds out Nicole for everyone to see. Sonic grabs the device and starts shaking it. Nicole shocks Sonic. Sally says, "That wasn't very nice, Nicole." Nicole responds, "Neither was nearly shaking me to pieces." Sonic, uninterested in the intelligent alien device that fell from the heavens, says the gadget is more trouble than it's worth, and for Sally to get rid of it. Sally refuses, stating that, like it or not, she's here now, and she's staying. Besides, everyone needs a friend. We cut to sunset the following day. Sally is alone in her room. Jalala's final testament claimed that all I need to attain oneness of the soul is locked within the darkness of the Forbidden Zone, a place where even Dr. Robotnik fears to tread. I could never ask the other freedom fighters to accompany me on what could prove to be such a dangerous and personal mission. So, except for you, Nicole, I'll have to go it alone.
Yeah, fuck you, Nicole. You're coming. Too dangerous for everyone else, but this alien thing, you're in.
She got me roped into this mess.
Yeah, right?
Sally puts on her vest and bandana, grabs her slingshot and Nicole, and walks out of her house, which is apparently outside and not in Knothole Village. She walks out, and Sonic and the Freedom Fighters are still standing outside, standing beside a pink plane with the words Sonic on it. Sally says that this mission could be dangerous, and is something that she needs to do on her own. The Freedom Fighters will not take no as an option. After all, everyone needs a friend. The Freedom Fighters take off in Sonic's plane towards the Forbidden Zone. The Freedom Fighters all stand on the wings of the plane, with Rotor flying. They fly over the Forbidden Zone and jump, with Rotor flying the plane away. The Freedom Fighters, sans Rotor, land in front of what looks like a prison camp from World War II. High walls, lookout towers with large spotlights sweeping the area, and hundreds of SWAT bots on patrol. The Freedom Fighters are hiding behind rocks. Sally takes out her slingshot and paintballs and starts shooting the SWAT bots in the eyes so that they can't use their sensors anymore. Meanwhile, Sonic starts spin dashing to each SWAT bot, taking them out. The rest of the Freedom Fighters run past the SWAT bots towards the wall. Sonic and Sally follow suit. The SWAT bots stop attacking, saying, "They have passed beyond the point of no return. The Forbidden Zone will make short work of them and prove their ultimate undoing." The Freedom Fighters scale the barbed wire wall and hop to the other side. Waiting for them is a gigantic, robotic, purple Cyclops. The Cyclops attacks Sonic, but he dodges at the last second. Sonic spin dashes, but bounces off the hard body of the Cyclops. Sonic, slightly defeated, asks how they're supposed to get past him. Sally says she doesn't know, but she might know someone who does. Sally pulls out Nicole. "The mechanoid sensors have been keyed to detect motion." Sonic responds, "That's it! Everyone, follow my lead!" Sonic and the Freedom Fighters stand still. The mechanoid looks around and sees nothing and closes its one eye. Sonic speaks up. "I thought so. Without a target to track, he went back into standby mode and not a moment too soon. Patience has never been my strong suit." The Freedom Fighters now walk past the mechanoid and into the cave it seems to have been protecting. Deep in the cave, they come across a fire-breathing griffin. The griffin is flying above them. Tails, being quick to action, states that he's the only one who can fly, and flies right at the griffin with the plan of knocking it out of the sky for the Freedom Fighters to attack. The griffin tail whips Tails out of the sky. He lands next to a sword in a pedestal with a plaque that says, "Whoever pulls the sword from this stone shall best the beasts." Tails quickly pulls with all of his might. The sword appears to be stuck. Meanwhile, Sonic is taking on the griffin all by himself, dodging the attacks left and right. Tails keeps pulling and finally frees the sword. The griffin falls to the ground instantly. Nicole says, "By freeing the sword from the stone, Tails broke the circuit which granted the griffin its mobility." The Freedom Fighters just agree on... The Freedom Fighters just agree with this insane logic and continue down the cave until they come across a two-headed dragon. Instead of picking a fight, Sally asks Nicole if she knows about this monster. Real quick, this is a big paragraph. What do you think Nicole should sound like? I'm not being snippy. Like, what do you think she should sound like?
I mean, at this point, I think you should stick with it.
Stick with it?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm open to suggestion.
I was thinking more of a female SWAT bot.
But like, if I was thinking that too when I was reading it, but I was like, I feel like this does need to have personality behind it, because if this is going to be a potentially mainstay character, we don't know.
Based on the ending of this comic, well, yeah, okay.
Yeah, maybe I missed that part. Sorry. If it ever looks like I completely forgot something in a comic, I probably just did. But yes,
we'll go with stick with the voice.
Ziggy. Got it. Okay. Thank you. The creature before you is the legendary Polysaurus Rex. Long thought to be extinct, this two-headed, two-faced biomechanical watchdog is a walking contradiction in terms. One head always tells the truth, while the other always lies, and no one can ever be sure which head is which. Behind it lie two doors. One leads to your quest's end, and the other towards certain doom. Choose your words with care, Sally. Sally thinks for a second, and asks, You, on the left, which door would the other head claim leads to quest's end? The two heads look at each other and laugh.
I just wanted to know what you were going to do for this.
Yep.
Thank
you. No, I appreciate it. See, okay, hold on.
This is my favorite part. Yep. Forcing one-off characters we'll never see again.
Just come up with a brand new voice.
Exactly.
This is good training. This is honestly good training. Okay. Truly, you are wise beyond your years, little princess. My brethren would counsel you to take the door on your left. Just trying to do my best desolation of Smaug. Benedict Cumberbatch. Okay.
Yeah, no.
I don't remember that voice exactly, but I think that was
You were way off.
Yep, 100%. Needs to be more British.
Yeah.
Sonic immediately starts walking to the door on the left. Sally has to stop him. No, Sonic, we're taking the door on the right. Think about it. If he was the head that tells the truth, he would have told us truthfully that the other head would have lied. On the other hand, if he was the one that lies, then obviously it would be the door on the right. Sonic is still puzzled, but the Freedom Fighters walk past the dragon and open the door on the right. Inside is a dark room with a beam of light shining down on the pedestal. On that pedestal, a chest. Inside that chest, a scroll. On that scroll, you didn't write that.
That would have been really. I'm upset that I didn't. Truthfully, that's really funny.
We cut to what could only be described as a voiceover montage. Who is this? Is
this
the
is
voice?
Sally.
This is Sally. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the significance.
Wait, a mature Sally.
Oh shit.
not that mature.
Yeah. I didn't understand the significance of that moment then, but I do today. We see an image of Sally reading the scroll confused. We got to an image of an older Sally who has replaced her bandana with a crown, reading the same scroll. Jalela's words have served me in good stead for fully 2 decades. We see the Freedom Fighters stand in a great hall, 2 decades older. Buns is no longer mechanical. Tails is wearing glasses. Antoine has a mustache and old grandfather glasses. Rotor looks like an old man, wrinkles and glasses. He's wearing what I'm assuming is a purplish lab coat, but instead gives off the vibe of wearing a robe in the Playboy Mansion. Yes, I was thinking something very similar, yeah. As her final testament clearly stated, the fulfillment of my quest has indeed granted me oneness of the soul, and a sense of peace and well-being worth any past or future price. By having faith in myself, the war against Robotnik was won, as was the heart of my beloved Hedgehog. We have a kingdom now. A family. In runs 2 tiny children, one the spitting image of Sonic, the other Sally. And the children have a grandfather. We cut to an old King Eggcorn, grabbing the children of Sonic and Sally and hugging them. No, after all these years, many years, the final link in an elaborate chain of events is about to be forged. Rotor is tinkering at the work table and pulls out Nicole. Sally grabs Nicole and starts crying. Hello, old friend. It's been a long time, and it would be longer still. Rotor had spent years striving to reclaim the technology that was lost when Nicole was destroyed during the decisive battle with Robotnik. Now that we're finally together again, we must say goodbye once more. Rotor takes Nicole, puts it in an orb, and blasts the orb with a beam. Ever since the discovery of the trans-time portal, I knew where Nicole had come from and why. She was a gift to myself, from myself, a friend when I needed one the most. Without her, I might never have lived to see this day or to fully appreciate Jaleila's passing and the 6 little words she left behind. To thine own self be true. The end. But wait a minute, Sonic fans. Is this really the future of the Freedom Fighters, or just one of the many possible futures of our heroes? You never know what exciting adventures lay ahead.
How'd you like this one? What's your overall? Let's start. I have granular notes that I took while we were doing this, but let's start base level. How are we feeling? Vibes.
Definitely. See, I do this thing where at the 11th hour of when I'm about to speak my opinion, I start double guessing myself and be like, no, wait, hold on. Is this actually really cool?
Is that where you're at right now?
See, that's where the not intrusive, but you know what I mean? That thought is creeping up on me because it's like, what if this is like one big, like, emotional moral goal for the gang to like strive towards? Like, it's like a How I Met Your Mother, but like good potentially. Where it's like, hey, like, you know how this is going to end, right? Where Ted has the kids and he meets the mother and that's somehow they're happy, right? This is that moment. This is like that. They're peering, in a way, the orb was a crystal ball.
I think you're an idiot. Just completely, no, like, this clearly will never happen. This is just
Why not?
This is just they wasted our fucking time. They wasted our time with 3 issues trying to like do something like kind of cool. And I admit maybe the core premise is all right, but I think it's executed poorly. And then on top of it, they go ahead and they do something dumb where they're just like, hey, and just an FYI, we're not committing to this. This is just something that we're just like doing.
But this is where the comic is supposed to end. This is like where everyone's supposed to wind up.
Sure.
You know what? Except if they gave themselves an out, and in a way they left themselves uncommitted. Because you're right. What did they include at the end there? Because you were quoting it.
Yes.
Wait a minute, Sonic fans. Is this really the future of the Freedom Fighters, or just one of the many possible futures of our heroes? You never know what exciting adventures lay ahead. So yeah, it's meaningless.
Yeah.
You're right. It is meaningless.
I know.
It's meaningless.
And the thing that really frustrates me is if you like think about it logically.
Yeah.
Well, okay, first of all, well, like, we don't know.
If you think about it, not a fucking stupid idiot. Yeah.
I don't know past this issue, right? This is the extent of my Sonic knowledge.
Same.
Is issue technically special.
Issue 18, special 1, right.
Yeah. I don't know if Nicole is a thing or not.
I don't
right?
either.
And so, like, I don't even know if Nicole's going to be in the next fucking issue.
Because she blasted it, but also at the same time, did she like sit?
It's just one of the many possible timelines, Dominic. Maybe there's no Nicole in any of them. This is why I'm like, what the? And
you're not giving.
No, this is the problem. This is the fucking problem. Is the moment Nicole is introduced?
Yeah.
Then that's the timeline, because she received it. So it's like it's locking themselves.
It's like in a loop, right?
Okay.
And she sends it back to herself.
Let's talk movies. Let me relate this to a way that I can do this.
Sure.
I recently watched the blockbuster hit movie Paycheck, which I believe came out in 2002.
Paycheck? Okay.
John Woo.
Oh, no. Okay, definitely not. I would love to, but
Ben Affleck.
John Woo and Ben Affleck? What the fuck?
And Poison Ivy. What's her name?
Uma Thurman?
Yes. And
no, I have not seen this movie.
And Two-Face. Aaron Eckhart. So they just went and got all
was it Tommy Lee Jones? No. Okay, the other
They got all the
Two-Face.
Batman's characters.
No, this is actually a convergence event in the Batman universe.
Yeah,
You just didn't know it.
And is it a good movie? I watched that movie and I was like, we don't have fun with movies anymore. This is such a fun movie.
Okay.
But we don't need to go down that tangent. There's a concept that they introduce in that movie that they kind of explore but don't really talk about, where it's like the moment you know your future, that is your future. And so
in the time travel, mechanics.
and like in attempting to deviate from that future, you're creating that said future that you saw.
I think I've seen that plot line develop before as well. Right?
Another good, another classic movie that no one talks about, The Time Machine, directed by H.G. Wells' great-grandson, I think.
Yes. Who wrote the original book.
Yeah, that movie is also really good. Fantastic soundtrack. Highly recommend. This is actually...
It blew my mind when I saw it as a kid. Yeah.
This is actually a podcast where I'm like, you should go watch early 2000 movies.
Honestly, yes, because that's like a forgotten... Everyone just dismisses it because it's like, it's like, oh, this is when all the bad superhero movies are. It's like pre-Marvel, right? Pre-MCU, and it's back when the CGI was dumb. No, it's actually pretty good. Yeah.
But the moment Nicole is introduced... that means that this has to be the timeline because she sends it back. Right. You don't get to deviate from that time. That is the timeline.
This story has to happen.
But
I think what they're saying is that yes, this whole quest did happen. They defeated the 3 monsters, which is very. I can talk about. We'll get there.
We're getting there.
But the part where they get to they get to the chest. And then they see the future. That is like that's where the possibilities start opening up, right? Because you're right. I agree.
Are you saying that she's imagining this future?
No. We're not getting psyche again. We're not getting into the psyche again. We're just saying
I would have been okay with that if this crystal ball just fucked with her mind and she imagined all this.
You really want that to happen.
Yeah, because that would have been way more interesting. And then you get this fucking bullshit where you're just going to make up timelines that you can just ignore.
I agree. But unfortunately, that the timelines where we can ignore, that is what they're trying to do. That is what the text is saying.
Yeah, no,
we are making a cooler comic in our heads.
I have a feeling that's going to happen a lot.
Yes. Honestly, that is a symptom. That is not a symptom, but that is a bad habit, an unfortunate habit of many fans of many stories and franchises and universes, just because so much, like with Sonic, like we had said before in another episode, I think it was the Sonic Gram special. I don't know. But we said because we haven't really played that much Sonic as there is Sonic out there. Mm-hmm. We haven't read that much Sonic as there is Sonic out there until now, right? We make up so much in our heads what Sonic is and what he means and what he can do.
Oh, I don't do that at all.
You don't think about anything outside of the media that you consume. You just consume. I just
take
media.
it at face value.
Got it.
In your face, kind of. That's how I take it.
In your face value.
Yeah, it's your face value. Thank you.
That's a good name. I actually like that. That's the name of this episode. Damn it. God damn it.
Okay, so overall, let's big picture. Do you think it was worth the 2 mini comics that we had leading up to this?
No, because there was a lot of hype for what was honestly a really lame quest. You can even say if you don't like the destination, you can at least like the journey. The journey was nothing.
I agree.
The journey was absolutely nothing. Okay, it's cool that they're infiltrating this Robotnik kind of thing, outpost. Mm-hmm. That's cool. They're going into the Forbidden Zone. Okay, cool. What is that Forbidden Zone? Oh, why was the Cyclops rogue? Oh, sorry. What? Sorry. No. Why was the Cyclops a robot?
Hey,
you had a real griffin, a real dragon, and a robotic Cyclops? Why wasn't the
No, dragon wasn't real.
Oh, sorry.
And the griffin wasn't real. They're all robots.
You're right. You're absolutely correct.
I know.
Why weren't they drawn like freaking robots then?
Hey man, that's an
art question.
That's who I don't remember who.
Art.
Oh, it is.
Inks
I
by
see what
art.
You're saying. Duh.
Penciled by art.
You.
Penciled by art.
Firsting me again.
Penciled by art.
All right, let's get in a little bit granular.
Okay. Debut of the Sally vest, pretty awesome. I think that's cool.
Is that why they made this?
That'd be so funny if that was.
I'm going to start with, I didn't describe it in the episode at all, in the writing, because I didn't even know where to begin. But when Sonic and Sally are sparring at the very beginning, Sally is wearing the creepiest fucking mask.
It is.
It has real like hockey mask vibes.
It is. It is basically a hockey mask.
Yeah. And so it's just a completely like almost Phantom of the Opera, just like completely straight faced,
except not half full.
Yeah, and then the eyes are, I don't know, the eyes are too big. I think that's what makes it too creepy. I don't know. It's not good. It freaked me out.
Yeah, because it's like she's not fencing, but it feels like she should be fencing.
Oh, 100%.
Like wearing a fencing mask. Anyway,
yeah. My biggest thing is what the fuck happened to Knot Hole? Is that just not a thing anymore?
I really hope not, because the idea of an underground village, like fearful of trying to hide the entire location of the society away from Robotnik's fascist, prying, ultra technological eyes, is a really cool concept.
Oh, I'm right there with you.
But then they just don't.
And the thing that's really frustrating, they're just sitting out on a house in the middle of actually they show it. They show it right here.
There's huts.
There's huts.
Yeah.
They're in huts now. It's just in the middle of the woods. And I was just like, when did they make this change? Obviously, when they made it, it was when I was complaining about it when, was it when Jalila was dying? Yes. Yeah. Because that's the first time they introduced like a normal house.
Right. Outside, yeah.
Outside. And so it looks like they have like a little hut village.
I think that is the how they're going to do it now, which is just have the Knot Hole be outside.
Yeah.
That's so lame.
Incredibly.
I think they want like variety. I think they did it for artistic reasons. Like, hey, I want variety in like the backgrounds and stuff. And I'm like, no, don't do that.
I agree. Well, I think specifically they wanted this panel that I'm circling, which is Sally getting ready at dawn with the sun rising or sun setting. And she's like, I feel like that's the panel. And that's why they're like, this needs to happen.
Okay.
The one thing that I legitimately really like, and I think it's a cool idea, is it's pretty, maybe it's not subtle, I don't know. I do feel like it was a little maybe hand-fisted, but I like the core concept of Nicole talking and being like, only you can make that decision, and Sally being like, you remind me of someone else. And obviously it's Jalila, but Nicole is made by Future Rotor and Future Sally. Mm-hmm. So Sally's the one
talking to herself.
So it's really Sally. She reminds herself of Jalila, which is also Sally in the future. I think that's a really cool little.
So you don't mind the loop?
No, I
do mind the loop, but
I like the core concept. Mm-hmm. I hate the fact that they're not going to do anything, and they're just like, this is not real.
Right.
They won't commit to it. That's what I hate about it.
Because it does feel like Mike and Ken, the writers, are just like trying to pitch this like, hey, is this cool? Is this...
Well, and like maybe it is even like...
them pitching to the editor?
Being like, hey, this is the story we have. And they're like, well, we can't commit to this. You can make it, but we're going to put a little footnote saying, no, that's not a thing.
Maybe we'll find out in the next issue, or the next several issues, but I don't think it's going that way. I don't know.
Yeah. I
don't know.
But I liked that little bit of the core concept. It really weird how it feels like a prison camp.
It's an outpost, right?
I guess.
They never really established that.
No, and I don't get what they're like. So are they protecting the cave, or are they just there? No, they refuse to go into the Forbidden Zone.
Correct. So I really think it's like an outpost.
Okay, that just happens to be near the Forbidden Zone?
Yeah, it's like, hey, Robotnik's like, you could just say satellites or whatever. But anyway, Robotnik's like, hey, I want eyes near the Forbidden Zone so I can see what, if the freedom fighters decide to go into the Forbidden Zone, I can know what they're. I can get like a sense of what. That's good intel. That's good, like coverage.
I don't hate that. It was more just I didn't.
Why does it look like a prison camp?
I mean, it literally. I don't know if you ever played Ground Zeroes, but it reminds me of
Metal Gear.
The Ground Zeroes mission.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
When
he's in Cuba.
It looks. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I'm back into thinking this is Earth because there's barbed wire. Barbed wire was made in DeKalb, Illinois. No other alien race.
No other species.
That is the only thing humans did because it's too fucked up. No one else would think about it. They'd be like, no, that would hurt people. We don't want to make that.
Genocidal robots. That's universal. Barbed wire, that's America, baby. That's
DeKalb, Illinois, baby. I really hope it's DeKalb.
I think you're right. No. It's like, because like whatever town it is, it's like Barb City. Like that's their nickname.
Oh man, yeah. I wouldn't know.
Well, for the record, the original like reason why they made barbed wire is to keep cows in a certain spot.
Yeah,
it wasn't actual. And then it turns like, hey, we can keep these living things in. We can also keep these other living things out. It'd be really cool if there was like a war happening. This would be very useful.
I do not understand the core premise of how this Cyclops works. Because if it's only active when there's movement, and then he closes his eyes when there's no movement, how does he ever open his eyes again?
I don't understand it.
I've reread it because I was like, maybe I'm like missing something. No. As soon as he like T-Rexes that shit and stops moving, he closes his eyes and they are able to just walk right past them.
These three, I know you're doing like monster by monster, but these three guardians of this whole thing is so stupid. Well, it's so cheap. It's like they just hastily made like, hey, we need three things. We saw Indiana Jones in the Last Crusade recently, so we need to come up with three things on our own, and then just come up with really cheap, fast, riddles or ways to get around them, like video game bosses.
Two things. One is I don't know that much about like Greek mythology or anything like that. Is this
I don't know the story of the Cyclops.
Jason and the Argonauts or something?
No, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Maybe that is what they're going for, but it seems very generic.
I agree.
But the mechanics of it are still stupid. And again, why is it I know the other two are robots. Why is this one like very outwardly a robot? Maybe that griffin just effed me up because like that griffin looked really real. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Well, and so I get why they're doing it this specific way is that they are doing it in a way where Sally is able to defeat them and not Sonic.
Sure, it doesn't have to be a monster though.
Yeah, I know. I think that's the whole point, right? That it's like a quest that these like is passed down from generation to generation for these acorn people, right? Am I interpreting that right?
I think so. Because that like that's why because like Rosie and Jalila, or rather Jalila, it's more generic, like, hey, you're ready for this quest, whatever that quest may be, whether it's Robotnik or this thing. I don't think it's ever truly tied to the other, is it?
I am not sure.
This feels very specific to like, hey.
Oh, hey. I did miss that specific line where this is the chest is a miniature version of Jalila's Hope chest.
Okay,
so maybe
it is
she
tied.
Designed this specifically for Sally.
I hate that.
I do too, actually.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I'm realizing, do we actually know what's on the parchment? I just realized I don't know if they ever actually say it.
Well, she's reading it, right?
No, oh, here it is. As her final testament clearly stated, the fulfillment of my quest has indeed granted me oneness with the soul.
Or is she narrating?
She's narrating. I don't think this is what's on the parchment.
This is so dumb. I don't like where this concludes at all.
Yeah. Well, I'm not.
Like, it's
I'm
not
not
even
done bitching.
Not even where it concludes. The whole journey itself was really such a letdown. The second half of this is so nothing.
I agree. Especially for like the first special, it feels insane.
Yeah, that's a shame.
I don't. The fact this blew my mind, and I was so annoyed at the sword being pulled out of the pedestal somehow breaks the circuit so the griffin dies.
That doesn't make sense. And even if it does, like mechanically, that doesn't make sense from like a why would you set it up that way?
Yeah.
Unless it is Jalala who specifically like constructed this.
Yeah. Well, and so this is why I was like, oh, maybe this is like actually some Greek mythology and they're like almost doing it beat by beat and just like adapting it poorly, because I was like, okay, Cyclops, that instantly makes me think old mythologies.
Right.
And then pulling a sword out of stone, obviously.
King Arthur, yeah.
Exactly. So I'm like, maybe there's some story here that, or maybe they're just pulling it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that dragon looks real as shit.
Sure does, but it does say in it's bio. Where is it?
What a cop out!
Biomechanical.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I remember.
Well, and so this is that was also one of my problems. Was like it says that thought to be extinct, and I'm like, well, okay, wait. If it's mechanical, can't you just make more?
Yeah. You wasted the name Polysaurus Rex.
Yeah, right.
What an awesome name.
Yeah,
love that.
I agree. And then they just stole the labyrinth guard door puzzle,
which is a classic riddle.
Yeah,
but like it's to the point where it's a cliche now.
Well, especially here because this is like
well, yeah, I know it's 1994, but still.
Well, it's like pretty close to when Labyrinth. I mean, Labyrinth came out in what 88 or something.
I don't know.
Yeah, and then they open the chest, blah blah blah.
It really was a personal test, and which I understand was the point of the whole thing, but it's constructed as such a specific test for her that, and there was no payoff other than, hey, this is what your future might look like. And I'm like, but it doesn't feel like we tested her all that much.
It feels like we didn't test her at all.
At all. And like I understand, like, oh, Tails beat that one monster. Okay, sure, friends help. That's fine, kinda. But it's still like these three beasts. That's it. It just feels so cheap.
Well, I also don't feel like
constructed and artificial. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like she didn't really learn anything.
No, not at all.
That's the like. I just needed her to be like, oh, you know what? I wouldn't have been able to complete this without my friends, and like my friends.
I mean, you could imply that. No, you could imply that, but
no, I refuse to. I need it written.
I can. Are you serious?
I refuse to let these comics get away with things like that.
I see what you're saying. There is a point where you're reading it to the point where it doesn't. Like you're just making excuses for it now, but there is reading into, there's like knowing the context of it. So like the fact that Tails beats that second monster, that is her friends helping. And they established that early on where it's like, because yeah, Sally could have been by herself this whole time, but they were like, everyone needs friends. So we're going to help you. And they do help her. I don't know, small defense just to make the point, but I do understand what you're saying that.
I'll accept it.
I do understand what you're saying though, is that these authors have not earned the trust of either of us yet to make something. I mean, I will say this feels like the most mature story they've done yet. I do feel that, like the way they tell the story. It's like
Cool Sonic was the most mature story they've done yet.
Sure, of course, but and apparently they'll return next issue. But in terms of
Cool Sonic's next issue,
I think so. Because we were like glancing through it earlier, and I
did not remember.
I read ahead. I read one issue ahead. It doesn't tie into this. Don't worry. But in terms,
of course, it doesn't. Was Nicole in it?
No.
Yeah, of course she fucking wasn't. God fucking damn it! Are you serious? Nicole's not in the next fucking issue. This was a waste of my fucking time. Are you kidding me?
She might appear later, though.
Oh my god.
Sorry, yes, I know we say that we haven't read anything up to this point.
I will always never read ahead. So Dominic can do whatever the fuck he wants.
I read one ahead because just in case I fell behind. In any case, it's inconsequential anyway. Yeah, this really feels like, in the most charitable way that I can put it, is that Mike and Ken really wanted to up, or maybe the editor was also involved. I don't know. We're like, was also part of this initiative, I should say. It feels like they were feeling it out and we're like, hey, we can do something more mature here. And they certainly gave us something in like a more mature package, like in how that, like, just the way that there's no white frames on any of these panels anymore. The fine detail is much more like the whole thing is way more detailed. You can.
Oh no, it does feel like they put money in this.
Yes, 100%. But in terms of,
which is a shame.
Yes, I know, because in terms of the actual story here, it's so nothing. It really is truly non-committal, and it's such a waste of what. Because like you had the ingredients in these first 18 issues of a story, right? You could have really expanded the world of it. And you know what? Sure, you want to do a character study for Sally? Fine, do that well. They did not do that well at all. This is a cookie cutter, three obstacles to defeat. You're trying to do what, Arthurian legend, but like half-assed and certainly not enough. They should have removed, because there's more stories in this issue that don't connect.
Yes.
It's just random other stories. They should have ditched those, let this breathe some more.
I agree. I think this whole issue should have been just this.
Yes, I 100% agree.
I don't know how feasible that is. I don't know enough about comics where I'm just like, yeah, maybe that's just never an option.
Yeah, and the presence of the other two stories really contribute to the idea that this is not like they half-assed it. They really did half-ass it. In terms of like the full package. Mm-hmm. Like I acknowledge that they're trying something really mature here, or like, upping the, maybe not really mature, but upping the game from, issue 1. I acknowledge that the penciling here is way more detailed. The effort is there. I can feel the beginnings of like the stirrings of a really grand epic happening here. But this small arc just completely led to nothing.
Okay. So thank you for doing that rant, because it gave me some time to think.
Yeah.
No, like unironically.
Yeah, I know.
My issue is, you're right. Like, the lesson is like, trust your friends and stuff, right?
Maybe
it is. It super is.
Okay,
that is the point. I mean, come on, the whole.
Because the flash forward is all of them older.
Well, that and there's a line like everyone needs a friend and stuff and whatnot.
I thought that was a small theme. That is the theme.
That is the theme.
Got it.
You're right. I had a set on it, but the problem I have with that theme is I don't think Sally needed to learn that. This entire time she's been like, everyone's been doing teamwork. If anything.
Sonic is the one who needs to learn that lesson.
That is exactly what I was about to say.
That's a classic Sonic story where he's constantly, you could even say overdone, but this was 94, so whatever. But it's like, yeah, but because he's Superman.
Yeah,
he's Superman. He can do anything.
He needs to learn to trust his teammates.
Yes.
Like
Sally was not. She's the leader of the team.
Yeah.
With no powers.
This sucks because obviously I want a female-led story.
Same.
And I want.
Oh my god! This in the filter and lens of like, this is a female-led story. This is just as cheap as that one story from however many issues ago where it's like, hey, let's kidnap Bunny and Sally and they're going to be helpless, and then they just beat Robotnik on their own.
Yep.
Which Bunny I can get, although Robotnik should have anticipated that. But Sally was kicking ass too, and I'm like,
Bunny was still pretty new. He didn't know.
Fair enough.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think so either. But Sally, why was Sally kicking so much ass? She should not to say she can't kick ass. She can do a couple. I'm going back to that story now, but like, yeah, she could beat one or two robots, but she was being overwhelmed. I don't remember now, but either way, this feels just as empty. This really feels just as empty as that other one.
I agree 1,000%.
It sucks. We're going so hard on it because we really were wanting and expecting more.
I was expecting more, truthfully. Yeah. This feels like the natural point to continue to go to like the next issue, but I'm not done ranting about it.
Go for it.
Sonic would be a horrible king, right? he is not someone who should be king. Sally, I totally am like, yes. And
but they balance each other out?
I don't know. I don't think so.
That would be cool to explore, I guess.
I would
love to see more of
have that dynamic explored truthfully than what we got.
This feels like some the introduction of the kids who look exactly like them, but either way,
that was the other thing I was going to bring up is I think they should have committed. I think they should have done some weird hybrid half-bred like
hybrid squirrel hedgehog.
Yes. Give me a squirrel face with like spikes. That's what I wanted. I'm actually
whoa. Squirrel face is never okay, Nick.
You're right. That was insensitive. I apologize. We will keep this in the edit.
But with the acknowledgement, I will add a link to the National Museum of Jim Crow to the description.
You should have said like Squirrel Crow or something.
Oh my god.
Or no, Jim Squirrel. What am I saying? It's right there. Duh. How did I not think of that earlier?
When the bunnies and the hedgehogs had their civil war, it was over it was the squirrel question.
It was about the squirrel question. The other thing. Also, side note, I looked up everyone's ages, right? This is 20 years later. You know how old Rotor is right now?
For the record, I want to state that ages are kind of a floaty thing in comics in general and even for Sonic. But sure, how old is Rotor?
He's 38. He looks 80.
Resistance movements will do that to you, man.
I'll accept that. Truthfully, I will accept that. But no one else aged like him.
That's very true.
That means Tails is only like 24.
Bunny did not age at all.
No, I mean Sally and Sonic didn't either.
Correct. Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
Yeah.
What the... No. Yeah, what the fuck? Hold on.
Yeah.
Literally, it's just Antoine and Rotor, like, maybe it's a... maybe it's a walrus thing. You know you know how black don't crack and Asian don't raisin?
Oh my god. Maybe we do cut that one.
No.
It's the truth.
It's the truth. No, I'm not joking.
No, I know.
Yeah. Black don't crack, Asian don't raisin.
What?
Maybe walrus
is there more to that saying?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I put them next to each other, but each one stands on its own. But in terms of walruses, maybe they just age faster.
Yeah, you're right. This is a different world.
Yeah.
Universe. Maybe.
But it is jarring. It is jarring. It is
jarring.
Weird.
When everyone else looks pretty normal.
Hey, can we give a shout out? Who did the pencil? Who did the whoever does the text? You nailed it because you hid Bunny's body straight up with that text box.
You're saying in terms of
the placement of the box.
Oh my god, she does look naked.
And here's the thing, it's not even like suggestive, but the box makes it suggestive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's that Mormon porno thing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, with the bubbles?
It was literally called bubbling.
It was called bubbling?
It was called bubbling.
For those who don't know, because Mormons can't look at porn.
This was a emerging trend several years back, yes.
This was back in like 2010, I want to say, 2011. They would go and take pictures of people in swimsuits and just white out circles or bubbles, if you will, over the where you would put like boobs and stuff, and they would put it all over the picture. It wasn't just over the private parts to kind of give it more of like an aesthetic thing,
right?
And so it would kind of make it look like they were naked, but they weren't naked,
right? So it was good in the eyes of God. But in terms of, I will say, I was impressed. I'm like, as an optical illusion, this is actually effective.
Oh no, I was very shocked.
Yeah,
at how much I jacked. Every single time, I'm like, really? I'm doing this?
Buckets.
Oh man, we're getting raunchy. This is what happens with the night episodes. Maybe it wasn't beer that one time. Maybe it was just the fact that it was like after 8 o'clock.
There you go.
That's pretty good.
So that is, if you want to, I'm not gonna put a fucking picture on it up on the screen. If you
I'll
want
find a picture of me in a bathing suit. It'll just bubble me.
that would be funny. But if you if you want to know what bubbling is, look at this picture of Bunny from the issue. Yes, that's what it looks like. That's the effect. Kind of.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey,
one last thing.
yeah.
There's no Uncle Chuck or Mutt.
Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah,
But there's a King Acorn?
they could have included
King
that.
Acorn is like the one I just assumed was dead.
Yeah,
That was so surprising that he was just there. And they're like, oh yeah, there's the kid's grandfather.
Okay. So this story does, although who the hell knows, because they said it's multiple timelines or whatever, but it does show that King Acorn is still alive. That is something implicit that is shown in this story. It's like, hey, King Acorn still around, can still be saved. At least that's what they're implying with the appearance of King Acorn. Which, I mean, I think it'd be more potent if he died, but I can go either way. Like you can make that work. Similar to how Uncle Chuck is roboticized and is a hostage and is that, glaring, black mark on Sonic's, goals or whatever. But I don't know, maybe he's a king in exile or a maybe King Acorn is in exile in a whole different continent and Sally is the one who stayed. That'd be cool.
That'd be interesting.
That'd be interesting.
Just like, fuck you, kid, I'm out.
So, yeah, well, do you think this is going to lead to anything?
No,
I know I spoiled the next issue, didn't, but do you think later?
No,
not at all.
I think this is fucking wasting my fucking time.
It's very non-committal in that way. If they do bring it back, I'm like, why? So then you committed. I do wonder how much of this was like their hands were tied. The writers, how much their hands were tied by the maybe above, where it's like, hey, give us. We still need the wacky, but you can start doing your own deeper story thing, Mike and Ken, if you want. So maybe if the behind the scenes we'll find out later time, then sure, we acknowledge that there may have been some behind the scenes business constraints there. But in terms of what we're seeing as first time readers of this comic, not very good.
I want a tell-all so badly.
Oh, dude. Bring back all of these dudes as a round table.
I feel like everyone's probably alive. We might have to be the ones to start like investigating this because I want to know.
So much work.
So I stumbled upon a 7-hour, we'll say, video game analysis of Sonic CD.
Oh, well, right, because that was a troubled development, right?
I honestly, I don't know. I didn't watch it. I'm like, 7 hours just for Sonic CD? I think not. But I'm so glad that someone did. But I was just like, I'm intrigued enough to like scan this. And you know what? I might watch it one day, but truthfully, I want to play the game first.
Fair enough.
Before watching analysis videos or anything like this. I was actually kind of starting to watch it, and then I was like, hold on, I shouldn't. I should go to Sonic CD with a clear mind.
Yes.
But one of the things that I found really interesting was in the instruction manual, they called Amy Sally, Princess Sally. And I'm like, oh, I wonder how much fuckery Sega of America is doing with the games and whatnot in these comics. And like, I know that Sonic of America, and then technically true, Sega of America and Sega of Japan were like at each other's throats a lot, and they did not get along.
Are you surmising that?
No, I know that.
Oh, you do know
that is a fact. They did not get along, and they actively tried to sabotage each other.
That's crazy.
If I understood things correctly, this wasn't in the Sonic CD stuff. This is other things that I heard.
Meanwhile, Nintendo did not have that level of inter-brand rivalry, did they? We don't know. Or you don't know personally.
When you say, oh, you mean like in terms
between Nintendo of Japan and Nintendo of America?
I don't think there was a Nintendo of America.
Okay, I don't know. I know that Reggie Fils-Aimé was like the American Nintendo.
So there is a Nintendo of America. I don't think there was a Nintendo of America back then. There might have been.
Okay, I don't
know enough.
Okay, we're speaking in ignorance now. We don't know. But either way, I know what you're saying about the Sega thing. So it is interesting to see how very unified, or at least as unified as it ever has been, the Sonic brand is now. To the point where now they're talking, so I'm speaking now, there's been like some talk about like, hey, bring the Freedom Fighters back and finally bring them into
I don't think Sega Japan wants
I don't think so either.
In any way,
I
shape, or
don't
form.
think so either. That's the vibe I'm getting. But because like they just want, here's Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, Amy. You can have her classic costume, but either way, this is the crew, and then Rouge and Shadow and all that, and everything from the games, right? We've unified it now. Mm-hmm. Will the Freedom Fighters get their time in the sun again? We don't. That's the big question.
I mean, I guess we personally will find out in due time. I'm sure you, the listener, already know that answer.
Yeah, probably.
And that's the issue. I don't know.
That's half the issue. That's honestly like 2/3 of the issue. So yes.
Sorry, I started doing the outro, but I should probably explain why we're outroing. We try to keep the episodes at about an hour. We're at an hour, and so if we go into the next one, so this is gonna be split up into part 1, part 2. Come back next week for the second half of the In Your Face special, arguably the less interesting half, but we're going to have emails in the next issue. So that should entice everyone. So that's the issue. Only 400. I feel like I haven't been updating this either. So
no, you have. I think I've been watching you.
Okay. Yeah. 456 left to go. I'm Nick. I stream at twitch.tv/Mojosaurus. I'm back to streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays, except for today, because today is Thursday, because we had to record this. And then next week I'm not. But that's because
look,
I
don't pay attention to what he says. Just go to the Twitch page and see when he's streaming. You can put a schedule like text on your page, Nick.
I think I do.
Okay, good. Then don't say anything. Just tell people the URL.
In theory, I'm streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Sure.
I'm streaming next Tuesday. So tomorrow, if you're listening to this the day of, I'm streaming tomorrow.
It's not evergreen. That's
my personal Twitter is @themojosaurus, and my Blue Sky is @mojosaurus.
And I'm Dominic. You can follow my jazz adventures in Chicago @BlueCollarJazz, and my personal Twitter and Blue Sky is @DomGuan1.
You can follow us on socials at Gotta Talk Fast, TikTok at Gotta Talk Faster. We also have a video version of the podcast where you can follow along with panels and watch our handsome faces. You can write in the show at sonicgrams at GottaTalkFast.com, ask us questions, provide corrections, and give us your opinion on this week's issue.
And remember, when life keeps going fast, you gotta talk fast and just get through it. I love you. Gotta talk, gotta talk.
Gotta Talk Fast was written by Nick Folkerts and edited by Dominic Guanzon. Intro and outro themes recorded by Dominic Guanzon. Gotta Go Fast originally composed by Norman J. Grossfeld, Joseph Garrity, and Russell Velasquez.
Gotta talk, gotta talk. Gotta talk, gotta talk. Gotta talk, gotta talk. Gotta talk. Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk fast.